chased him, but he fled. But if I told my dad, he'd say, it's all inside your head.
You really cannot catch them
Or find their whereabouts. But if you meet a Fixie, please don't let their secret out. But if you meet a Fixie, please don't let their secret out. But if you meet a Fixie, please don't let their secret out.
The Keycard.
Whoopa! Well, Professor Eugenius, your kennel's back in action. Tiddish!
Ah, why, thank you. I've been longing for a cup of tea. Yes.
There's no tea left in here.
Then I'll go ask Lisa if she has some.
Look! Professor Eugenius, you forgot the key! The key! Don't close the door! Simka, you must be joking. That's a key. This is nothing but a plastic card. But it is a key. A special kind. It's called a key card. To open up a combination lock, you need to enter a code in the correct order. That means if you can't remember the code, you can't open the lock. But if the lock uses a key card, there isn't any code to memorize because the code is held inside the card's memory, and the lock can read the code from the card. Of course, key cards don't work with any lock. They have to be smart locks that are able to read electronic codes. When the smart lock reads the correct code, it opens right up.
Lisa, do we have any tea here?
Of course, Professor Eugenius.
Wonderful. I'll take one bag then. Oh, I left my key inside the lab. Can I borrow yours?
Just don't forget to give it back.
Of course I'll give it back. Come on, Elisa. I got myself a tea bag.
Professor Eugenius, the water's boiling.
Fantastic. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ch-ch-chai. Wait a second. Oh no. I was supposed to give something back to Elisa.
Why don't you go and ask her?
Right. I'll be right back.
Professor Eugenius! That's card number 2 now.
Elisa, I promised you something, didn't I?
Yes, the key. You said you'd return it.
Yeah, sure. Let me get it. Just a sec. Oh, I locked it in the lab.
It's terrible. How will you ever get back into the laboratory now?
You see, there is one way, but it's a secret. Would you mind leaving for a couple of minutes? Colleague, Professor, can you do me a little favor? The key. I think I left it on the table.
Yeah, right. It's true. So how do we solve this? I need to think about it. What's there to think about? We just have to go and push it under the door.
You think you can do it?
Yeah! It's time to get to work.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, were you just calling for me?
Yeah, no, Lisa, not for you.
It's so heavy. Do you know where Digit ran off to? Ow! Digit's off somewhere thinking. He's always doing that when it's time to work. Hard to port. Hard to starboard. Way to go, Nolik.
Then who were you talking to?
Actually...
Oh, what's that?
Where? What?
What was that? Come on, let's try again.
Look, do you see that?
It's telekinesis. It's the power to transport things with your mind.
You are just astounding. Was that done with your mind, too?
The door? Yeah, sure.
You are a genius.
Professor Eugenius is a very talented scientist and a dear old friend of the Fixies. He always helps the Fixies, and the Fixies are happy to help him, too. Professor Eugenius let the Fixies set up their school right here at his laboratory. It's hard to imagine a better place for a Fixie school. People from all over the city bring all sorts of things to the laboratory to be tested, from computers, phones, and furniture to food and toys. Professor Eugenius uses his expertise to check the quality of all these different things. To help him carry out his experiment, his laboratory is filled with a variety of tools and machines. Yes, Professor Eugenius is a very smart man, but he can be absent-minded. Lucky for him, he's got us Fixies around.
Thanks for everything.
Sliding the keycard under the door? That was Simka's awesome idea.
But the door opened wide while the card was still on the floor.
That's strange.
There's nothing strange about it. I'm the one who opened it.
How?
I climbed in the lock, that's all. Figured out how it worked, and taddish.
Very clever. That's a real tadish. I guess that thinking before you go and fix something ought to be what we all study next.
The fire extinguisher.
So, who can tell me, in the home, what is the greatest danger of them all?
Chuzaka.
Well, dogs are dangerous for us, but what is very scary for us and for humans?
Fire!
Huh? Where?
I was just answering what you asked us.
Although your joke was awful, Fire, your answer was actually correct. Nothing can be worse than getting caught inside a house on fire.
Don't know much about chemistry, but I can handle circuitry. That's an interesting idea. I have to try it out.
And that's why every Pac-a-mat has a fire extinguisher inside of it.
And how do you turn them on?
Well, I'll show you at the end of the lesson.
Nolik, listen, yell fire.
How come?
I just want to find out how the professor turns on a fire extinguisher.
Forget it, Fire. I won't do it for you.
Fire!
Huh? You again.
I was joking.
It's a stupid kind of joke, and I want you to leave right now. Actually, I should call your parents to discuss this terrible behavior. Fire is no joke at all. Remember, never fool with fire. Of course, you should never play with matches or with lighters. Everybody knows that. But those aren't the only things that can cause a fire inside of a house. So can a stove or a fireplace. And don't forget electrical appliances, like electric burners, space heaters, and irons. If you act carelessly around any of these appliances, they can cause a fire. And we should never forget to take extra special care with sparklers, candles, and fireworks. Sparks can jump off of them and set fire to highly flammable things like paper, wood, or cloth. So, what do you do if a fire suddenly breaks out? That's right. You call the fire department by dialing the number for all emergencies, 911.
Huh? What's going on? No way. No way! Fire? It's burning for real! Fire! What do I do? Oh, yeah! I need a fire extinguisher! Where are you?
And that's how a Pac-a-mat can become a fire extinguisher. Do you understand?
We understand. There's a fire! It's over there!
Enough! You don't know when to stop fire.
I'm not joking this time. Please believe me, it's there.
Nice try, Fire. Oh, look, he even used smoke this time.
No, Simka. That smoke's from a fire.
Uh-huh. I'm sure that this time it's for real.
It's the truth. I swear I'm not lying.
This time I think it's true. He's not joking.
We've got ourselves a real fire here. Tula, Simka, turn off the soldering iron.
Uh-huh. Got it.
Be careful, kids. You have to stay back here away from the fire.
And what can I do to help?
Take out your fire extinguisher. Long ago, people used to put out fires with just water or sand. Today, people also use fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers are cylinders with hoses. They're usually painted red, so they're easy to see. The cylinder is filled up with a special powder, or foam. If someone needs to put out a fire, they point the hose at the fire, pull out the safety pin, and squeeze the handle. The foam or powder shoots out of the extinguisher and puts out the fire.
Our fire extinguishers are just too small for this fire. We have to find Professor Eugenius to put it out.
I already did.
All right, where's the fire? Ah! Ooh!
Hooray! We put out the fire!
You Fixies are just the greatest. Thank you. You saved the whole laboratory.
Not at all, colleague.
If not for you Fixies, I can't even fathom how this could have ended.
And what I'm wondering is how the fire got started at all. Fire?
I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, sure. Then who was yelling, fire, fire? You know what? Maybe it was you that set the fire. Well, if that's what happened, don't even think about coming back to school without your parents.
Colleague, wait. It's all my fault. I didn't turn off the soldering iron. Forgive me.
Now we know whose parents the school should be calling. The clocks. Go around. Left side.
That's crazy, you'll crash!
No, I won't. See, I told ya.
What?
Huh? Nothing.
Now you talk with your computer like it's your friend. Listen, that's enough playing for today.
Oh, Mom, just a little more.
I'll give you half an hour while I cook dinner, and that'll be enough for today with the computer.
This stinks. I'll never get through all of these levels in half an hour.
No way.
Hey, but what if we could stretch out the half hour?
How?
We could take the hands on the clock and move them back a little.
Mom will catch us.
Fine, then let's slow down the speed of the clocks.
Yeah,
But how?
You gotta know things like that. Since olden times, many clocks run with the help of a pendulum. The pendulum controls how fast the hands of the clock turn. If you make it longer, the pendulum will start to swing slower, and the clock's hands will slow down. If you make the pendulum shorter, the clock will tick faster. Most clocks that are made today don't use pendulums. They run with the help of springs or with an electronic chip instead. But even so, there are ways to change the speed of these clocks, too. Push it!
Wow, you did it! It's amazing how much slower it is.
That'll give you lots of time to play.
But now you gotta slow down the clocks in the kitchen.
Yeah, and every other clock you got. I just have to turn this to make the pendulum longer.
Uh-huh. And now the clock will go slower. Tadee! Fire! Now that clock over there.
Let's go do it.
That's it! We slowed down every clock, and your mom didn't see a thing.
That's great. Yeah.
Wow, Tom Thomas, you're cool! Amazing!
He got another one. Awesome. You're unbelievable. Way to go.
Huh. That's strange.
Hooray!
Incredible.
Yay, I did every level. Oh, thanks. You're both just...
The time masters of the universe.
Yeah, but I'm getting really hungry, and Mom hasn't called me for dinner.
Because a half hour hasn't passed on the clock.
Hey, do you smell that?
Something is burning. What happened? A fire?
I don't get it. I was just waiting for 30 minutes like I always do, but everything burned this time. Maybe the clock stopped?
No, take a look. They're working.
Oh, I'll make you some oatmeal.
Oatmeal for dinner? Mom, I need to, I'll be right back. You see what you've done? Time masters of the universe? You gotta go speed those clocks back up.
Okay. We'll speed them up. They'll be caught up in no time.
Humans have come up with lots of different ways to measure time. For example, if you stand a stick in the ground, you can measure the time of day by watching where its shadow falls. That's a very simple clock called a sundial. Another simple and ancient clock is a water clock. It keeps track of time by measuring how much water has poured out of it. And if the clock uses sand instead of water, it's called an hourglass. But humans weren't able to accurately keep track of the time until they invented mechanical clocks. They come in all sorts of sizes, from grandfather clocks to watches worn around the wrist. Today, we also have easy-to-read and accurate electronic watches and clocks. But the most accurate clock of them all is the atomic clock. It tells the entire world the exact time.
Thomas, why is your alarm clock ringing in the middle of the night, huh?
Really? Is it still night out?
Look, Thomas.
But the clock says that it's morning.
Interesting.
Yesterday, Fire and I sped up all the clocks, so that's the reason the alarm went off.
Sped him up? Are you crazy?
Thomas asked us.
So what do we have to do now?
Don't you know? Get to school, it's time. I'm joking. Go back to sleep. Don't worry, I'll get all the clocks working right again.
Can I go and fix them with you?
Ha! Fix them? You boys are the ones that always make